Hi, it's Kirsten. I wanted to give you a checklist of symptoms that may indicate if you have a tight pelvic floor. So here we go. The three most common ones that I see are pain with penetration. So pain putting in tampons in the vagina, pain with intercourse. So whether it's a penis or a dildo, what have you, it hurts to actually penetrate into the vagina. And also difficulty defecating, so difficulty getting the poop out, so you feel more constipated. So when the pelvic floor is tight, it's hard to clear the bowel at times. It doesn't kind of work as well. It just feels like things get stuck in there, or you have some that come out and then the rest that does not. So those are the three most common ones. Now, can those symptoms be part of other things? Absolutely. That's why I go through my own checklist of, okay, well, chat to people and ask them all their symptoms. I make sure that they've been to the doctor, that there's no investigations that we have to do. So all that's taken care of too. But pain with, like I said, pain with intercourse, with penetration, difficulty with getting poops out, urgency. So urgency is where you feel like you have to go pee all the time, where you just have a lot of urgency all the time, or you're pretty good and then wham, you feel like you have a lot of, like you really have to go pee, so you get a lot of urgency at once, and then you have to get to the toilet and you might actually have some loss. Those people tend to actually be more of a tight pelvic floor. So again, you're just doing your day and you're washing the dishes and then you have a really strong bout of urgency and you can feel yourself leaking. It may be that your pelvic floor is so tight it actually can't close the sphincters. So what are some other common symptoms? Well, tailbone pain, so coccydynia. Maybe you've fallen onto your tailbone and your pelvic floor will contract often because it is in pain. So pain, muscle tension, more pain kind of cycle. So your pelvic floor will tighten. And that's not always. Sometimes people with coccydynia or tailbone pain, it's for other reasons, but that's a common one. So you may have tailbone pain. You may have lower abdominal pain. You may have pain in the vulva, so along the labia or into the perineum or in the rectum. One of the other ones is what's called proctalgia fugax. And that's where you'll have it feels like a rectal spasm. It feels like someone is shoving a knife up your bottom and it's really, really sore. And it often happens at nighttime. And that usually happens with the people that are more tight. It can also be difficulty urinating as well, where you have a really slow void where it just kind of piddles out rather than a nice big open, you just have a great pee. So let's go over them. Pain with penetration, urgency, urge incontinence, slow stream, difficulty voiding the bladder voiding the bowel, and constipation, pain in the vulva, tailbone pain. You can have even sometimes low back pain and tight hips. So many, many, many of us have a tight pelvic floor. And those symptoms that I just talked about, if you're like, oh yeah, I have so much urgency and I got, and terrible periods. Okay, put that on your checklist as well. So period pain. So when you have pain with your periods, oftentimes they are tight too. Not always. I'm just saying like some that it could be. So if you have these things where you have maybe a lot of period pain and you have more on the constipated side, and it does hurt to have penetrative sex, and maybe you do feel like it takes sometimes a long time when you sit down in the middle of the night and you try to go pee and it just takes forever. It may be that you actually are on the tighter side of the line, right? So go see a pelvic floor therapist, and what they should do is they should not give you a whole bunch more Kegels, okay? If they do, you have to really understand why they're doing that. Maybe you're like, well, but I have a little bit of incontinence. Like when I have that urgency, I have incontinence. You got to release the pelvic floor first, then you got to straighten it, or sorry, strengthen it, straighten it out. So if your shoulders were tight, right, and you're like, oh, my shoulders are so tight and I could barely lift my arms above my head, would we give you a whole bunch more shoulder exercises to make your shoulders stronger? No, just make them more tight. So just go to a pelvic floor therapist, hopefully you can do something. They can at least teach you how to do self-releases or releases with a wand, or do the releases themselves, teach you how to do them, do the breathing exercises, do the ball releases, all that stuff, so that you can get a better, more relaxed pelvic floor. Super important. So if you do go to someone and they tell you to do a bunch more Kegels, you can actually tighten up so much that it becomes more painful. It becomes more symptomatic. You have more problems voiding the bladder, more problems voiding the bowel. Okay. I hope this helps. I hope this is giving you a somewhat of a checklist. Maybe I should put one on the screen if I figure out how to do that. Okay, take care and hope this helps. Okay, bye-bye.